Parshas Sisa recalls one of the biggest mistakes in Jewish history. The story of the Chet HaEgel, the sin of the golden calf. How the Jewish people worshipped that golden calf, and Moshe descended from Har Sinai with the Luchos. He takes them, he throws them, he destroys them. The very next day, Moshe goes back up to Har Sinai and tries to attain forgiveness on behalf of the Jewish people. Another similar type of occasion, one of the most tragic moments in the history of the Jewish people during their sojourn in the desert, was when Moshe sends spies to check out the land of Israel. The spies return, give a terrible report to the people. The people cry, they sin, they don't believe in God's promise that the land will be beautiful and fruitful. The result of which was that the Bnei Israel, the Jewish people, were punished. When it comes to the Chet HaEgel, when it comes to the sin of the golden calf, Moshe appeals to God to forgive the Jewish people, and the Jewish people are forgiven. When it comes to the sin of the Meraglim, of the spies, the Jewish people ask Hashem for forgiveness. They beg to do tshuva, and God does not forgive them. Why the difference? Why, when it comes to the Chet HaEgel, to the sin of the golden calf, Moshe goes up to Har Sinai without the Jewish people even doing tshuva, even repenting? And immediately he repents on behalf of the people without their requesting to do so. It doesn't say it anywhere in the Torah. And Hashem forgives the people. But when it comes to the sin of the Meraglim, the Bnei Israel say to Moshe, okay, we sinned. And Hashem doesn't accept their sin. So the Kotzker Rebbe explains that the difference here is what each of these sins represented. When it came to the Chet of the Egel, when it came to the sin of the golden calf, what did the Jewish people really want? The Pasuk says, Kuma Seilanu Elokim, they wanted a God. They wanted a sense of godliness, they wanted a sense of spirituality in their life, but they were mistaken as to their approach. They saw Moshe being the person who connected between them and God. They thought he was gone. So they wanted to find some way to connect to Hashem. They were misled. But nevertheless, it was the spirit inside of them that desired to connect to God. When it came to the Chet HaMeraglim, the sin of the Meraglim, it was a desire for not spirituality, but a desire for what we call Gashmias, a desire for something which was material, something which was tangible, something which they felt and was going to be good for them. It was the land. How good was the land? How sweet was the fruit of the land? Would they be able to conquer the land? It was all physical, as opposed to the Chet HaEgel being all spiritual. The lesson here, says the Kotzker Rebbe, is that we see how vital it is to our existence to have a spiritual element in our lives. We live in a world which is full of materialism, everywhere around us, from everything we see in the news to everything that we experience, and there is somehow in this world a tremendous lack of spirituality. The shul, the Torah, our way of life is full of spirituality that we need to be able to touch, and not just touch once a week, but be able to touch on a regular basis, to experience a sense of spirituality that will allow us to connect to God and to make our lives more and more personable and more valuable. That is the message and the lesson of the story of the Chet HaEgel, and why the Jewish people were forgiven for this sin, but why we were not forgiven for the sin of the Meraglim. May we be zocheh to infuse the concept of spirituality in our lives on a regular basis, each and every day. Thank you for listening, and have a good Shabbos.